Very good afternoon to one and all. This is Dr. Pranay Devte, and today we are going to see which we the previous background of this topic we already seen in the previous lecture. If you want to see the background for the ophiolites and all, you can see the previous lecture like what is mean by how the igneous rock has been formed and how the plate tectonic processes has been working, and in addition to that, how the what is the intrusive rock and what is the extrusive rock. Hello, this is Dr. Pranay Devte, and today in today's video lecture, what we are going to deal with the ophiolite. So ophiolite is nothing but a sequence which is formed by the plate tectonic theory, or we can say the plate tectonic movement. So this is a perfect explanation for the how the ophiolites can be formed. It's nothing but a sequence. Ophiolite is nothing but a sequence which can form by the plate tectonic movement. Again, the what the plate tectonic theory provide you a movement of the plate, a movement of the plate. So what are the ophiolites exactly? So ophiolites are the explanation of ophiolites for you have a plate tectonic theory provides an explanation for transitions of the ocean floor being derived from the mantle and returning to it. Occasionally, some portion of oceanic floor escape destruction at subduction zones, and during final stages of the oceanic closure get abducted to the one of the colliding continental foreland to form a ophiolites. So this is how you can have ophiolites for you. So means when you have the ocean get oceanic stages of the during the oceanic closure, you get the abducted crust. You get the abducted crust. So when the abducted crust get colliding at the continental foreland to form a ophiolite. So the who is given this concept? Steinman. Steinman in 1927 given this concept ophiolite. So relatively, when you talk about the various different kind of concept which we study very often about the geology, what the continental drift, and given by the your sometime Taylor and Flatman and whatever the other scientists, Wagner theory and all. So those theories are little bit a older one. So accordingly, this theory is a more newer one. Accordingly, this theory is more new one. So ophiolite is not a single. Ophiolite is not a single rock. Ophiolite is not a single rock, but it is an association of various lithounit. Ophiolite is not a single rock, but it is an association of various lithounit. So I already explained you that it is a sequence. Ophiolite is nothing but a sequence which can be a derived or which can be a series of different kind of rocks which you found in a margin of the crust or margin of the plates. So ophiolite association represent slices of oceanic crust. So ophiolite association represent the slices of oceanic crust that has been thrust upon the continent. So this is about the ophiolite. So ophiolite are mostly a slice of oceanic crust that has been thrust upon the continent. So what a main characteristic of this ophiolite? So ophiolite association represent what? A slices of oceanic crust that has been thrusted upon the continent. What this represent means you have a oceanic some part of oceans and some part of continent. So both the things are there, and that's why you known this one as a ophiolite sequence. So the definition, or we can say the explanation, perfect explanation for the ophiolites are, so the ophiolites are the unique assemblage of volcanic, mafic, cumulate and ultramafic rock. Here you can see the what different kind of rocks are there, what different kinds of rock are there. So it is a unique assemblage. So combination of different rock, whether it is a volcanic one or oceanic crust representation and all. So ophiolite is a unique assemblage of volcanic rock, mafic, cumulate, and ultramafic rocks. Ophiolite is a unique assemblage of volcanic, mafic, cumulate, and ultramafic rock. Ophiolites are generally represented as dismembered part of the small block along a fault system. Other evidences for ophiolites are oceanic crust, that is range as a thickness of internal unit of well exposed ophiolite matches well with the range of thicknesses and oceanic crust layer. So ophiolite are nothing but a unique assemblage of volcanic rocks. So what what is the difference between magma and lava? We already seen in the previous lectures. I can repeat here also. Magma is a what we can say the assemblage of the different material or molten material inside the earth. So when that one is inside the earth, that is called as a magma. When that is on the surface, that is called the what the lava. Okay, so magma and lava, so two concepts are there, magma and lava. So what is the magma and what is lava, you can have understand now this. So lava is a nothing but a volcanic product. Lava is nothing but a volcanic product which is a mafic, cumulate, and ultramafic rock. uh, Ophiolites are nothing but a unique assemblage of volcanic, mafic, cumulate, and ultramafic rocks. So ophiolites are generally represented as a dismembered part or small block along a fault system. Ophiolite are generally represented as dismembered part or small block along a fault system. So this is why the ophiolites are all about. So understand what is the ophiolite? It is the assemblage of volcanic rock. So volcanic rock are those rock which is found on a surface. The volcanic rock are those mafic rock. Mafic rock means when you have a more of ferromagnesium. In a mafic rock, you have a more of ferromagnesium material. So that is your nothing. That is known as your mafic rock. That is known as your mafic rock. So the mafic rock are those rock. The mafic rock are those rock which having a more uh, uh, ultra mafic, or we can say the more you can have a what we can say the a magnesium or ferromagnesium material in it. Just a minute. So ophiolite is a unique assemblage of volcanic, mafic, ultramafic. Ultramafic means when you have a SiO2 in a very less number. When you have a SiO2 in a very less number, that thing is known as the ultramafic rock. Mafic, ultramafic, and this one all. So the other evidences for ophiolite as a oceanic crust. So range in thicknesses of internal unit of well exposed ophiolite matches well with the range of thicknesses of oceanic crust layer obtained by the seismic studies. So this is what about the ophiolite sequence. So now you have abduction. Now you have abduction. So abduction is what we can say the product of abduction is your ophiolite. So you have to get this concept a very in a very what we can say the a good manner. So you have two different kind of crust, that is oceanic crust, and that one will be going into the get what we can say the submersion or a subduction zone on a when two plates are get joined together. So that is your subduction. So when this subduction get happen, what happen? You have a abduction of this oceanic crust. Then you have ophiolite. Then you have ophiolite stratigraphy from study of world ophiolites. You have ophiolite stratigraphy from the study of world ophiolites. So ophiolite is nothing but the different layers of the what we can say the different layers. So what that layers are exactly? So deformed peridotite is a bottommost layer. The first layer which you are studied is a bottommost layer, that is a deformed peridotite. So the first layer is a deformed peridotite. A deformed peridotite is essentially made of Herzbergite, dunite, and serpentinite. These all are the rocks. So you have a serpentine. So serpentine is what we can say this is a combination of mineral and rocks actually. Serpentine is nothing but what we can say the secondary mineral from the olivine, or serpentine is just your derivative from your olivine. So on. So dunite is also made up of olivine. Dunite is, so all these are mostly a ferromagnesium material. All these are the ferromagnesium material. So that first layer is formed at the bottom is a peridotite. First layer of the form is a peridotite. Peridotite layer is considered to be a residual layer after removal of partial melt product. Peridotite layer is considered to be a residual layer after removal of partial melt product. Then you have a layered cumulate rock. Then you have a layered cumulate rock with the olivine chromite layer at the base giving way to the typical gabbroic, with the olivine chromite layer at the base giving way to the typical gabbroic. So you have anorthositic, tractotelic rocks, and different type of rocks at the your cumulate of different rock. Sometimes a non-cumulate gabbro may also found at the top. Sometimes a non-cumulate gabbro may also found at the top. So this is all are the second layer which you form. Then you have a sheeted dike complex. Then you have a sheeted dike complex. Dike is nothing but the dike, you can say a swarm with the 100 dikes. Dike is a swarm with the 100 dikes. They are severely affected by the secondary hydrothermal processes. Dike swarms are with the 100% dike. They are severely affected by a secondary hydrothermal processes. It is having a compose of hydrothermally altered pillow lava. It is having a compose of hydrothermally altered pillow lava. All the above igneous association are capped by the thin zone of radiolarian chert or other marine sediment. All the above igneous association are capped by the thin zone of radiolarian chert and other marine sediments. So this zone definitely link ophiolite to marine environment. So the all this mostly are what up to the fourth point what you see. These all are the igneous intrusion, or igneous what we can say the igneous intrusion or igneous superficial expression. So these all are capped by the what, a radiolarian chert, which is formed basically in a marine sediment. Which is formed in a basically marine sediment. That's how you come to know about that. This is a nothing but a combination of continent and marine sediment. So this is how you can have an idea about this is a combination of your continent and marine sediment. So this is how your sequence are there. So first one is a deformed peridotite. First one is a deformed peridotite. Second one is the layer cumulate rock. Third one is a sheeted dike. Fourth one is a basaltic volcanic member. Fifth one is a radiolarian cherts. So this is all about all the are the sequences. So this is all are the idealized ophiolite sequence. This is all are the idealized ophiolite sequences. So lithology, this is the lithology one side, and you have a typical thicknesses for the lithology. Lithology and the typical thickness of the lithology. So you can have a deep sea sediment. You can have a deep sea sediment. Then you have a basaltic pillow lava, sheeted dike complex, isotropic gabbro, a foliated gabbro. So these all are the first what we can say the first layer what you have. So in the lithology you can see the deep sea sediment. that is a basaltic pillow lava, sheeted dike complex, isotropic gabbro, foliated gabbro. So this is all are the first of 4 to 5 layers of the sediment. Then you have a layered gabbro. Okay, layered gabbro in the second one. So please note that all members are seldom present at all ophiolite complexes. So this is a complex when you have this type of all the rocks present, then you can call this one as a ophiolite sequences. So what is the first? First is your deep sediment, then basaltic pillow lava. So how the pillow lava has been formed? That there is a story about how the pillow lava is formed. The pillow lava is the structure of the basalt or igneous intrusion. How you can have a when you have a just like a pillow you have. So when the pillow you have, you can have the pillow which is having a what we can see just a structure like a pillow. Okay, just a structure like a pillow. So how it is formed? When you have a igneous intrusion inside the ocean, you have a igneous intrusion inside the ocean, that will known as your igneous intrusion lava or pillow lava. Then you have a sheeted dike complex. Then you have a sheeted dike complex. So isotropic gabbro. So isotropic gabbro is nothing but the isotropic gabbro is nothing but the your what we can say the gabbro which is having a this one inside the layers. So that is known as isotropic gabbro. Then you have a layered gabbro. Then you have a layered gabbro. Then you have a different kind of layered gabbro inside that second layer. Then you have a ultramafic and a base. And you have a ultramafic at the base. So actually we seen from the top to bottom. Generally we seen from the bottom to top, because in geology what the always you have to study the first sediment is at the bottom. The law of superposition always it can find. Law of superposition. What is the law of superposition? Law of superposition suggests the oldest rock always found at the bottom and youngest one is on the top. So on this basis, you first have to study the first layer. Okay. So ultramafic rock, then you have layered gabbro, then you have a different kind of dike completion. So at the top you have deep sea sediment, which is deposited last, So then you have a specific terminology. Then you have a specific terminology of ophiolites complexes. A specific terminology of ophiolite complexes. So you have a olistomite. You have a olistomite, that is a base of peridotite and myelonites. Myelonites is a highly sheared and cataclastically deformed rock. Myelonite mostly form in a faulted zone. When you have where you have a crushing, a good crushing at that your what we can say the myelonization is nothing but a crushing a crushed unit of the rock. That is your myelonites, which is consist of green schist traces. This is also called as a olistostome. This is also called as a olistostome. The residual heat from the ophiolite and frictional heating during the thrusting is believed to be responsible for this metamorphism. Okay, so abduction, seismic moho, and Steinman trinity. This is a different kind of stages or different kind of class of this one. So abduction is a slicing. So these all are the phenomena which are associated with your ophiolite sequences. So what is the abduction? Abduction is nothing but the slicing of oceanic crust, thrusted onto the continental plate during the continental collision or subduction. Then you have a seismic distinction between the oceanic crust and upper mantle occur where the gabbro grade down the toward layer of peridotite. Then you have a Steinman trinity, which is another name for ophiolite complexes, and ultramafic, mafic, and pelagic sediment. So this is a different terminologies. This is a different terminologies which we used for the to explain the ophiolite sequence. Okay, so now we are going to see the different ophiolites which we almost find to the any units or any this one. So Somali ophiolite, Samail ophiolite that is found in Oman. Okay, Oman, in Oman you can have this Somali ophiolite sequence which is extend to over 650 kilometers. So you can think that how long it can be. So this one is because of this all phenomena related to plate tectonic and all, it can be extended to the 650 kilometers. It has a 30,000 square kilometer of outcrop. It has been a 30,000 square kilometer of the outcrop. Then you have a stratigraphic thickness of 18 kilometers. Stratigraphic thickness of 18 kilometer. All member of ophiolite sequences are well exposed. All member of ophiolite sequences are well exposed. The contact can be well studied. So this is all about the ophiolite sequence. It extended to over 650 kilometer. It has a 30,000 square kilometer of outcrop. Stratigraphic thickness of this one is 18 kilometer. All member of ophiolite sequence are well exposed. Contact can be well studied. This is about your Samail ophiolite sequence, what we have, and Oman country. So this is what we are looking for, or what we have. So this is how you can see that easily different kind of assemblage of a rock. I want to zoom this one. This is a pillow lava structure. How the pillow lava structure is formed? When you have a pinching process of settling down or this one. So that is known as a pillow lava. Then you have a gabbro rock. Then you have a gabbro rock. Then you have a serpentine. Then you have a serpentine and all. So this is how your pillow lava structure is looks like. This is how your pillow lava structure is looks like. Then you have a gabbro. So what is the gabbro? Gabbro is a igneous rock, a igneous intrusive rock, which has been formed by the different processes. Which has been formed by the different processes. So this is the gabbro. Then you have a serpentine. This is a gabbro, and then you have a serpentine. What is a serpentine? It is a secondary mineral, or we can say the weather product of the peridotite or olivine. So here you can have a classic example of how to take a photograph. How to take a photograph. What you can observe in this photograph? What you can observe in this photograph? You can observe that there is a lens of the camera, so you can have an idea about how big this rock, how big the crystal is looks like when you are going to study the serpentine or whatever the product or whatever the things are you are going to study. Then you have a pillow lava structure. Then you have a pillow lava structure. For the pillow lava, I am going to use this chat board, or what we can say the whiteboard. What happened to the pillow lava structure and how this process is going to happen. So when you have a oceanic crust, when you have a oceanic crust, in the oceanic crust you can have a volcanism. In oceanic crust you can have a volcanism. So when volcanism are there, and this one are the wall are the water. This all are the water. So water are there. These are the very hot one. Okay, water are there. This one is a very hot one. So this one is get quench. This one get quench. So volcanic rock get quench with this one, and that is uh, what happened with this one. A quenching process means suddenly cool down was. This one is a suddenly cool down, and then that's how you can have a structure that is a pillow lava structure, which looks like this one. This is how your pillow like lava structure is looks like. So sudden quenching, okay, this is nothing but a sudden quenching of the material, sudden quenching. So that's why how your pillow lava structure has been formed. That's how your pillow lava structure has been formed. So sudden quenching of the rock gives you the pillow lava structure. How can you? It looks like you can see that. This is again a closer look of pillow lava structure. It is just like pillow you used. Now again you can see that how the photograph has been taken. Again you see the notice that how the photograph has been taken. So the photograph has been taken on the what we can say the with the hammer. So you need some specific what we can say the you need some scale to know that. So now you can know that the size of hammer is mostly 1.5 or 2 feet mostly, or not more than that. So your rock is just like this one, just like this one. So this is a layered gabbroina Sumel ophiolite. This is a layered gabbroina Sumel ophiolite, Oman. Sequence of the ophiolite. This is the sequence of the ophiolite. This is a plagiogranite. This is a plagiogranite in a Sumail ophiolite, Oman. This is a plagiogranite which is in a Sumail ophiolite, Oman. This is the sheeted dike in a Sumail ophiolite, Oman. This is the sheeted dike in a Sumail ophiolite, Oman. So most of the example are from the Oman, and this is what you can see that 300 650 kilometer of the distance has been covered by this one. 650-kilometer distance of this one covered by this one. So now you can have what where the world is having a ophiolite. Till now you can see the only from the this one. So where you have a plate boundaries, you can have a pillow lava structure, or what we can say the ophiolite sequences. Whenever you have a your what a plate boundary, then you have a this what we can say the uh, structural, or what we can say the ophiolite sequence. So alpine ophiolites are world famous. Ophiolite of Himalaya. Ophiolite of Himalaya. This one is so we are seeing on the Indian. So ophiolite in Himalaya is the Indian example. Alpine ophiolite are the example of what we can say the Europe. Alpine ophiolite are the example of Europe. Then you have ophiolite of Himalaya. Then you have ophiolite of Himalaya. Then you have part of continental ophiolite zones passes from Balochistan, Kashmir, Sangpo, Naga, Manipur Hills, Burma, Andaman, and Indonesia. So you can see how much long it can be here. So the various name of this one is sometimes called the Indus, Shok, Malla Johar, ophiolite belt of Uttarakhand, or you can say Uttarakhand UP. So that this is a various name at a various places, and also the sequence is the same one. That is your world ophiolite. That is your world ophiolites. This is a distribution of European ophiolite, how it can be occurred. So you have what we can see the distribution of European ophiolite. So European ophiolites are related to the collision of Europe with the Africa. They represent a remnant of Jurassic and Tethyan Ocean. Okay, so Tethyan Ocean, once you know that what is the theory of supercontinent and how it get continentally drift theory are there. So all these layers are known as the distribution, or all we can see the Jurassic Tethyan Ocean are there. Okay. So ophiolites provide yet another evidences for plate tectonic. Ophiolite provides yet another evidences for the plate tectonic. So this is now this is how your ophiolite sequence are there. This is how your ophiolite sequence are there. So this is all about the ophiolite, how the ophiolite is looks like, what exactly the ophiolites are, what is mean by ophiolite, and what different kind of ophiolite in a different world we are having. So different a different kind of what we can say, the different ophiolites is having their different characteristics, and different kind of what we can say, the different adjacent areas and all. So ophiolite is nothing but a sequence. Ophiolite is nothing but a sequence of what we can say, the a different cluster of the rocks, a different cluster of the rocks. So that is your nothing but the of ophiolite. So you have a different type of subduction. Actually, the what we can say, the about the ophiolites, what the ophiolites of this Oman is one of the best example of ophiolite sequences. The the sequence from the Oman is one of the best example of ophiolite. You can have what we can say, the you can have this kind of ophiolite when you can visit to that place. When you can have visit to that place, you can have a more what we can say, the a good number of ophiolite sequences you can find there. A good number of ophiolite sequences you can found there. So that's all about the ophiolites, how it can be looks like, and what is the what you can say, the how it can be structured, how it can be structured and all. So this is a nothing but a structural geological what we can say, the structural geology concept ophiolite. So so at it mostly form at the bottom of the your what we can say, the bottom of the your uh, ocean. It can be formed at the bottom of ocean. So it can be you can have a Ladakh ophiolite sequence. You can have a Ladakh ophiolite sequence. So Ladakh ophiolite is also one of the what we can say, the very famous very famous one, that how the your what we can say, the how the ophiolite can be existed, or how the ophiolite is formed. And in the your Himalaya also you have this ophiolite sequence. So this is a quite for us it is having a in India. So you have a in India you have a Himalayan or Ladakh ophiolites. That is a best example for the ophiolites. So hope you understand what is the exactly mean about the ophiolites, and how it can be what we can say, the how it can be uh, studied. Ophiolite, how it can be studied. So it is just a role of your asthenosphere, and a different kind of what we can say, the sheeted dikes and all. So I'm just again explaining you for the with the some of the animation how the ophiolites can be studied. Hope you can able to see this screen now. So what is the ophiolites is all about? So you can see this animation. So ophiolite is a nothing but the form at the mid-oceanic ridges. Ophiolites are formed at the mid-oceanic ridges. So at the mid-oceanic ridges, what happens? You have a two plate boundaries, which two plates which get moved from the each other. Then you have a sequence of two different kind of blocks or two different kind of continental plates. Okay, so two continental plates get what we can say the get close together. So sorry, get diverted from each other. That also we can say the divergent plate boundaries and all. So divergent plate boundaries is nothing but when two plates are going from away from each other. When the two plates are going away from each other. So how it is? Why it is going away from each other? Because it is floating on a asthenosphere. It is floating on a asthenosphere. Asthenosphere is nothing but a mobile rocks or uh, mobile material which is found inside the earth, which is found inside the earth. So this mobile material get push the your continent, and as this continent are get on the what we can say the on your that asthenospheric layer, it moves from one place to another place. Get moves from one plate to the another plate. So then you have a dikes. Dikes are so that intrusion takes this dike. So dikes are sheeted dikes. Dikes are means the dikes which form here is a sheeted dikes, because whatever the material which is there, whatever the material which is there, that material can be what in get inserted in the different kind of the layers or different kind of peaks there. Then the second layer, what the second layer is suggesting, or what is the second layer is all about? A second layer is second layer is what is the second layer? Then you have a second layer which is formed at for the a pillow lava structure. So this is on the plate, and what the pillow lava is representing, you know that what is the pillow lava is get what is the pillow lava is representing? Pillow lava representing a quenching of the igneous intrusion in the on the surface, on the oceanic surface. On the oceanic surface you have a igneous intrusion, and that is how you have a pillow lava structure here. So ophiolite is not a single rock, mind you. Ophiolite is not a single rock, it is a sequence of different rock, a sequence of oceanic as well as continental rock, sequence of oceanic as well as continental rock. So this is known as the your ophiolite. So you have first dikes, then you have a pillow lava structure, or pillow lava structure, what we can say. Then you have a sediment, then you have a sediment, and again after the sediment you have a what you have after this one, you have a ultra basic rock, you have a ultra basic rock after this one. So this all are the a part of the sequence. This all are the just a part of the sequence which we study under, which we studied under. So this is how you can have what we can say the pillow lava structure, or this all are the sequences of the ophiolite. These all are the nothing but the sequences of ophiolite. What the strata you have, what the different kind of strata you have in the ophiolite sequence. You often find different kind of what what we can say the mineral, and this one found, which is very helpful for the what we can say the for economic point of view and all. So that's why the most of the you can have a cometite and all, can have a cometite on and all. So this one is a so modern ophiolite is the ophiolite concept is get studied at very large scale nowadays. Different type of ophiolites, which is the main layers of ophiolite, sediment layer, volcanic layer, plutonic crust. So this is the main layers of your ophiolite. and some of the beautiful images are also there for the this ophiolite sequences. So this is how you can have so Ladakh ophiolite is one of the example. Ladakh ophiolite is one of the example. So when you have mid-oceanic ridges, more you have mid-oceanic ridges, then you can have a so Semali earthquake is a very famous one. A Semali earthquake is a very famous one, and what we say that this is nothing but the earthquake. This is nothing but the earth, or what we can say the used to study in the this one. So this is how what this is how we study this all the concept of ophiolites and all. Uh, Hope you understand this ophiolite sequences, what the ophiolite is all about. Thank you very much for listening this. If you have a 10 MCQ question in your LMS, you can go and solve this 10 MCQ question about ophiolites. The question are nothing but just where you can have ophiolite in the world, how you can identify the ophiolite. So how you can identify ophiolite? It's just a sequence. So when you get that sequence, you can have a ophiolitic uh, what we can say the ophiolitic sequences. So you need a sequence, a particular sequence. If you get the volcanic rock only, you cannot say that it is a ophiolite. When you get the ultramafic rock only, you cannot say this is a ophiolite. So what you need uh, a different kind of rocks. So now in previous lecture, what you seen about the different kind of classification of igneous rock. This is one of the igneous rock sequence which we study. This is the one of the sequence which we study for the ophiolite. So I hope you all understand this concept of ophiolite and all. And for the if you have any question, you can ask or mail me on my mail ID about this one, or I will provide the more notes. You can read from the different books. You have different lots of notes available and lots of what we can say the PPTs are not PPTs are not given that much of in a detailed knowledge about that, but if you go by the book, to go by the book, you can get the what we can say the a good amount of knowledge for this one. So, uh, so John Winter is one of the book from which you can study. John Winter, one of the book which from which you can study this all the igneous petrology concept. I will show you, or I will just put this one in a what we can say the white box we have. Yes, this is the name of the book. Principle of Igneous Metamorphic Petrology, book by John Winter. A book by John Winter. So this is a perfect book for this concept. If you want to learn this more in more detail about this ophiolites and all this concept, you can have these books. Winter, John Winter, which one is a good book for to study this all the ophiolite sequence and about the petrol. So thank you for listening this all. Thank you again. And now I'm going to close this